Hi everyone, I'm Deb here. I just want to have a discussion with you about my highlighting points on the UNESCO and experts' view on Indigenous Language Rights Roundtable. It's been actually a really good and a pretty well discussion because it's such a minor issue and this is not so being well spoken by the discussions, even the issues, because we're always be talking about STEM, which is talking about scientific technology and something like that. But somehow this issue or this topic is kind of minor because only few of us are even concerned and even aware about this kind of topic. This is language rights. It is just the way we want to give the rights to the people, to indigenous community to be able to speak and even educate the language to so many people, even the grandchild, even the new youngsters, and everything we want to have is like a sustainable of the language rights. And it is also we have the goal for bringing it up again for the language to exist again. So in the future we are not being afraid of the language getting extinct. Recently I just uploaded for the Medium stories about the UNESCO Indigenous Language Rights Roundtable as a stories in the Medium, and I've said editing. So in the Medium stories I also talk about how a Professor Hannah Otakoski from the Saami University, so she was explained to us about how the youngsters of the Saami people or the northern indigenous people or the community in the Norway, Sweden and Finland, even in Russia. So all of those communities are basically not able to speak the language anymore. I mean, most of them, the youngsters, it is due to because they always be talking in English, even Norwegian, Swedish, Finnish, even Russian. I mean, like this is also based of why the colonialism or why the globalization also take a part of the indigenous language rights and the way how do we have the existence of the language itself. It is kind of related to me myself because I'm a Javanese man, I'm a Javanese person. I'm from the ethnicity of Javanese in Indonesia. So most of us are not able to speak in our language fluently. I mean, like we are also mixing it up with Indonesian and for English, or even we just create it up with the dialects and even some new slangs and languages. So this is also one of the main concerns of myself, that a Javanese should not able to speak in such a language, because we should be sticking into our identity, sticking to our language. By the way, Javanese language itself has a differentiate the classes of the language itself, because we have like the three major classes of the Javanese. We have the Kromo, we have the Ngoko, and we have the Kasan. So these classes also explain to us that we have a differentiate the community who are able to speak in such languages. So I mean, like Javanese itself have the Kromo, which is like for only a blue blood or from the Keraton or from the kingdomate, and from the second we have the Ngoko for basically peasants or ordinary people, and the Kasar is mostly for we are swearing with the language, so it's not really that great. And for me myself, I'm a Javanese and I'm not able to speak in the Javanese language fluently because I'm still practicing myself, because I'm really concerned about how Javanese as identity should be preserved, should be in a sustainable system, so that we are not I kind of forgot about the language. This is exactly what I'm saying, that Javanese, Saami, and even another language from around the world, from Latin America. I mean, like, for about we have the almost one ratio of the language from the indigenous language and also the stable languages, because according to ethnologue we have the 44.25% of the indigenous language, which is, yeah, it's bad, and the other one we have the stable languages. So it's not really that great. We should be concerned about our language, because this is the way we communicate. This is the way how we embrace our culture, and this is so important because of lots of indigenous communities have been complaining about their own government, their own nations, that they don't even concern about how important indigenous language is. I mean, like, not only by the government, UNESCO itself has been saying that we are not even concerned about language, even the indigenous language. So they want to bring up this topic to be discussed even more reinforced starting from that day, and it's such a really great news for me and even for the communities for the language itself. So it is like one of the point that we have to bring back about how important language is. Indigenous language. There are some points that it's pretty crucial for us to know that language itself is being formed by a colonialism and even the politics and even the geography, because of the way how the colonialism has formed a language, because of their bring up their own European language like Dutch, Spanish, Portuguese. They are coming from a different nation and then they are conquered every places all around the world, especially in the British Empire, and it's actually affecting the people, affecting the how the way they communicate, because it's all about business and politics. And also because of this kind of issue about the colonialism and something kind of politics and government that affected the language politically. So we basically want to have the protections of our indigenous language, because only few of the indigenous language being protected. I mean, like we have Indonesians with the second most language spoken, but our government has not even been concerned about this language awareness. And as well as the Indonesian people are not even embrace their own culture, because they don't even value their own identity, their language. So therefore, the experts at UNESCO, even me myself as the language figure, we want to help people into building a better society with embracing our own identity without even forgetting our own culture and our language. So yeah, that's basically that we're having our critical moments that we are in the extinction of the indigenous language, which is it's not really that great. We should be talking about language rather than indigenous language, because language should not become indigenous, but I know we have the evolution of the language, but somehow why not we try to protect our own identity using our indigenous language. And it is really good in that we should be encouraging a lot of youngsters to embrace their own culture, because when we are losing our culture or even our own language, we don't even have identity. I mean, like this phenomenon also had happened in Jakarta, which is in Indonesia. A lot of them are not even able to speak in any language of their own original language. Sudanese, Betawi, Javanese, they are just living in Jakarta and speaking in totally slang and modern language, which is, I consider that's not really that bad, but somehow we should be just coming back to our origin language, and we are very proud of our own language. So that's exactly what I've been doing in Jakarta, because I'm a student in Jakarta, and I felt like a lot of people over there just talking in such a modern language rather than their own original language. I mean, like it's okay, it's about adaptation for having a communication in a different area, in different part of city, different part of the country, but somehow it is really good if we just want to represent our own identity, our own culture. And that's exactly what I've been doing. So I'll be speaking in Japanese when I met Japanese people in Jakarta, because it just brings back felt like at home, and it is really good for practicing my own Japanese language. I mean, as I told you before, Japanese language is pretty much more going into extinctions, but I mean, like when we say about extinction, it's not going to be in that short period, because Japanese has the most ethnicity in Indonesia, even it also have in Suriname, and yep, I know that it's not really that crucial. I know that it's not really a crucial extinction for the Japanese language, because we do have a lot of people who are actually speaking in that language, but somehow the youngsters, we don't even recognize how the Japanese script, even we are just looking at it without even know exactly what the meaning of the script is, which is Aksara Jawa. So here's a little bit lesson for all of us. I just want to specify in the youngsters, especially me. Please guys, you need to try to embrace your own identity, try to embrace your culture, even if you are living in different part of the world. I know that you are going abroad or going to study in different city. We need you to be able to preserve your own language, because who else? If your identity or your culture is going to be extinct, it's also lost that Indonesia, or even in any part of the world, we do have a uniqueness of our culture and our own traditions. We should be sticking into that rather than we just waiting for the big organizations to trying to help us to act. We just need to try out by our own. We can do that. We can do it by ourselves first, because yeah, I know that you guys all have been reading about a book called as Atomic Habits. Why not? We can just try to implement that kind of habit. We not just try to speak in our own language in every daily basis. So I think that's enough for discussion for today. Please comment down below if you have any thoughts to be discussed. I'm so open for you for having a discussions, and I'll see you later.